people ask me as a Jew, what denomination are you? So I say, I'm a conservatively Reformed Orthodox. And what it means is that you have to have orthodoxy in every faith and everything you do in life, your core values that shouldn't be changing. But you're always going to reform. We don't look like Moses, and we don't even act and behave like the Judaism in the temple. The Judaism that we practice today grew together, or was even born, I would say, together with the Christianity. So we have that common. We don't share the same faith, but we share a lot of components of the faith. And this is another thing for me, that what's the challenge to when you reform, to reform conservatively. So that's why I say, I'm a conservatively Reformed Orthodox, because I know that we always have to reform, but when you reform, you have to do it conservatively so you conserve the Orthodox value you have. So for me, that was the challenge, to think if Judaism would have to now convene a council like this, how would that look like? About 2 years ago, more than that now, 3 years ago, I was invited to attend the Palm Sunday service, a mass in Vatican Square, and I was sitting, with the where the Pope was and the archbishops, and I was looking at the millions of people who were in that square, and I was thinking, this is the closest that it probably felt and looked like in the days that Judaism had the temple, and people came on the pilgrimages to Jerusalem. So there would be that big building, right? It would be the high priest who would do the service, and there would be a million spectators, of people who would come as pilgrims. So when it came to Second Vatican Council, and I understanding this, especially that we live in the time for the Jewish people, post, we are now, there's still diaspora, but there's a Jewish homeland. So this was a huge change. It was as important as the change that the Jewish people experienced 2,000 years ago with the destruction of the temple. And that was radical change, of course, and had to force us to rethink our faith. So here, there's another big change, that the reestablishment of the state of Israel, the Jewish homeland. Now, what do? I'll give you an example. There was one when the IDF, the Israeli Defense Force, decided to rewrite the prayer book in the sense that to make it one version for all the soldiers, because soldiers came from all kinds of backgrounds, from the East, from the West. They had different traditions in the prayer, pretty much the same, but different customs and around it. So it had to think of how it brings all the diaspora Jews that came to Israel now under one liturgical version. So here, this is the challenge. How do you mobilize people physically, of course, coming to one place, and in this case was Rome, but how do you mobilize their mind, which is, of course, more challenging. It's always the human component that takes the time to implement. So it's so fascinating, all the layers of coming together, and that Holy Spirit that you're talking about. This is what I'm attracted to, that too. That Spirit, clearly there was a spark there in time and place that God spoke and said, I'm bringing the people, the religious people from all over the world, to figure out how do we step into the future?